Then comes column. A column, there are two kinds of columns. One is in a newspaper, this arrangement is also called a column. It's one column, two column, three column, etc. Earlier, the Hindu newspaper had 6 columns. They had rectangular columns like this, of course. But now here we are talking about the other kind of columns. That is an absolute opinion about something. For example, the newspaper might have, a newspaper or news organization might have identified climate change or third gender issues or center-state relations, problems of the teenage people, problems growing from the social networking media's issues, etc. Now, on each of these issues, the newspaper might allow or dedicate a specific amount of space and request people to write their concerns or write their findings about that particular issue from either from their own personal experience or from their experience, research experience about dealing with those issues. A column can be on one particular topic written by different persons, or a column can be written by one particular person, same person on different topics. And again, the same person on a particular topic on every occasion. In Frontline, for a long time, there was a very senior police official who, after retirement, has started writing about various issues of policing in India, and it was a good feature, good column about policing in India, and I could get a lot of inputs from it, insights from it. Earlier I have mentioned that in Times of India many years back, they used to have a column which was named as the Second Impression. In that column, every week, which appeared every week, they would give a profile about a person in a slightly informal or slightly comic manner about any person who would be in the limelight during those days. At present, suppose if I am writing about a person now, if a person is in the limelight, then I will be writing about him. Then there can be so many different kinds of columns. It depends upon what kind of columns the newspaper or the magazine wants to have. It can be on travel, tourism, education, etc. A person of a lot of experience and insight in a particular field offers his opinion, and like an editorial, he or she also offers his opinion as well as expertise in that particular field for the benefit of the people. It can be an analysis of the situation. For example, if it is election time, suppose elections are going to be held after 6 months or 1 year, then somebody can write a column on analyzing how the elections, people are going to vote, what is the voting pattern in a certain state, what is the voting pattern in a certain, under certain circumstances, etc. That is analysis. And again, if budget has been announced or new industrial policy, population policy is announced, education policy is announced, then depending on those factors, an analysis can be offered based on facts and figures, with the additional advantage of long years of dealing with public affairs and other activities and aspects by that particular renowned person. Now, there is something called review of films, books, etc. This is a very important development and activity for newspapers and magazines. Now, why do we need a review of films or books, etc.? See, in our country, on an average, every year about 700 to 800 films are released for public viewing in all languages, including all languages as well as English, which are imported from outside. Now, even if we say that there are 100 films in Hindi or in a language, in some languages that we can understand. Even 100 or 30 films will be a big number to see each one of them. And many a times, we do not know how that film will be, whether we should spend our time seeing that film or not. And the same thing happens with books. Even though book publishing is taking a beating nowadays because of availability of all kinds of other entertainment medium, yet book publishing is an important activity, business even now. And there are a lot of people who like to read a book under any circumstance. Then again, even for dramas, many of you must have heard about the term called Broadway in USA. Broadway is a place in USA, in a city, I believe it is in New York, where there are several theaters which are dedicated for performance of dramas. And if drama can get a big popularity in Broadway, it is supposed to be very successful, and all the drama producers there in that country has a dream of conducting or performing his or her dramas in that area, in the theaters of that area. Now, there, even in our country, in some newspapers, there are magazines, they do have an editor for they do have a person for review of dramas. Okay. Now, a review of films. What they will do is, they will look at new releases. If somebody requests them, they will look at new releases, whether it is a film, whether it is a drama, and write a very objective and impartial review of that product. The same thing goes with books also. Here there are two things. One is for books, the organization, news organization or the magazine may select the books to be reviewed by themselves out of so many books which are in the market, depending upon which books should be given importance or which author should be given importance on various grounds, based on various grounds. Similarly, if they feel that there is a new director of a film or drama who should be encouraged, and if a film or drama is doing something, doing a performance or has taken up a social issue for their drama, focusing on their drama or the film, then the newspaper organization decides that we should review this film or that particular drama because it is worth doing so. Then they will depute their particular person for that activity, and that person will go and have a witness it, observe it, and then or read the book, and finally write a very objective, impartial, and unbiased review of the product. Unbiased review of the product. Now, what does a review contain actually? The review should contain, ideally, what kind of a book it is, what kind of a film or what kind of a drama it is, what are the strong points, what are the weak points, how the director is how the director or the writer is being able to put across his views, or how it is being it has a potential for influencing people. Then, if it is a drama or it's a film, how are the actors doing their job? Are they being able to do justice? Is the director doing justice? Is the costume designer being able to do justice, etc.? And if it is what kind of a drama it is, what kind of a film it is, if it is an absurd drama, if it is a popular drama, if it is a popular film, if it is a period film based on some earlier historical issues, etc. All these things should be profiled properly and given, expressed by the reviewer for the benefit of the readers, so that the reader can decide whether he or she would like to go to see this film or see this drama, or read this book, whether it will be worthwhile to read this book, see this film, or see this drama. That way, we are going to save a lot of time in our hands. As I read regularly the Hindu newspaper, there once a week they give a review of 3 films together usually. It may include popular commercial cinema, or it may include artistic kind of films or out of the way films also. And the Frontline gives book reviews of several book reviews usually in its columns. And drama also, sometimes if there is a drama worth being reviewed and to be seen by the people, they do give a proper review of it. Now, some newspapers have a system of awarding grades or some kind of categorization of the films. Some say it is 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, or 5 star. 5 star means it is the highest amount of grading the newspaper is giving, not the Central Board of Film Certification or any other organization. And that is also based on the personal experience and opinion of the reviewer. So it is not necessary that it has to be, I mean, every person would feel like that after seeing the movie. The opinion may become different also after you have gone to the film. For example, suppose a new film is launched or drama is launched, a new book has been released. You have read the review in a newspaper, the newspaper which you regularly read. And then the newspaper says that, the review says that it's a good film or it's a good drama you should see, or it's a good book you should read. You go and read or you go and see the film, then it may also happen that you did not like it the way it has been described in that review. Fine, that may also happen. But anyway, as we do not have time to go for each and every movie which is available, and again, of course, there is no question of going for each and every movie, that is also true. But even if we like 10 or 15 movies or even 5 movies, many a times because of our day-to-day busy schedule of life, family issues, etc., we may not have time to go for each of these 5 films, or we cannot read all those 5 books, 10 books. We will have to give a priority, and that priority comes to you, that priority has to be decided by you after reading the reviews. That is a big service done to the society as well as the readers by the newspapers and magazines, so that you can make a decision about which book to read, which film to see, and which drama to see. Okay. Then comes human interest and profiling. Human interest, I have just now mentioned. Any story, any issue where there is some kind of some potential that the audience or the readers will develop some kind of interest is a human interest story. I remember many years back reading an news item in the Indian Express where the reporter rather, he has spoken about the problems faced by the postmen while delivering letters in those houses where they have dogs, and the sign that beware of dogs is written. So you can well imagine the plight of those postmen when they have a problem while going to deliver a letter there. Another issue, another story about the postman's problems I have read, which also struck my mind, which was quite interesting. That was in big cities, if there is a high-rise building or apartment flat building of 10 floors, 15 floors, will the postman not have problem in delivering letters to each and every flat or each and every apartment in a 15-story building, 20-story building, etc. Then at that point of time, I believe it was Bombay city, which the municipality of which has passed an act saying that in such kind of high-rise buildings, the postman will deliver the letters to the watchman or the people employed by the society of the flats, and that person will further deliver it to the apartment people. I mean the people who were living in that apartment. So it is up to you how you can find out a human interest angle out of anything and everything. For example, we always hear that children are victims many a times in the crossfires or the turbulence between antisocial elements, secessionist organizations, and their fight with the government forces or state actors and non-state actors. Under those circumstances, where will those children go and how will they survive? That is a very interesting human angle story. SOS Village is a story of that issue, of that aspect. Similarly, it will be up to you how you can find out a human angle, a human interest angle out of anything and everything that is happening around us. The profile. Profile means whenever, like the second impression column of the Times of India, whenever any person comes into limelight or any organization comes into limelight, how do you introduce them to the public by giving a nice profiling of their developments from, say, rags to riches story. Say Jadok Payeng, for example, is a rags to riches story, and not exactly rags to riches story, but from a humble beginning to such a big recognition in his life. That is important, that is profiling. Then Birubala Rava, who was even nominated for the Nobel Prize for her fight against witch hunting, etc. Then behind the scene activities. I remember seeing in one or two television channels, popular television channels, how at airports or luggage systems in the airports, how complicated decisions are taken. And in big cities, how in the metropolitan railway stations, railway networks or the general railway networks, how complicated situations are tackled. They are also very interesting aspects for human interest. And how the costumes might have been designed in a big drama or big cinema, etc. So all these things make good opinion pieces or entertainment pieces for the people. These are opinions based on facts and figures and properly researched findings on which you are writing your story. And depending upon whether it is a column, whether it is a feature, whether it is article or feature or other review, the personal emotional attachments are getting a bigger portion to some extent in say column, feature or reviews, because in reviews, however much you can you try to be objective, yet your personal likings and dislikings will count to some extent. Okay. And again, in a review of a film or a book, when you are reviewing it for a newspaper, you cannot be too much academic or theoretical, because the general public or the general audience or the readers are not aware of those theories or those academic insights. They also do not need to know those theories. For them, it is sufficient to know whether the film is good, it's watchable, it's entertaining, or it will be worth the money he or she will be paying, or will it be worth for going to the cinema and spending some time for it. Now, we have discussed most of the major features of opinion and editorial writing. Again, going back to the first opening sentence which I have said, why, despite hearing for a lot of times that opinion, news and views should not be mixed, why news and views are mixed in a newspaper or a magazine. It is not actually mixed, but it coexists. And ultimately, anything we do by organizationally or formally or informally, anything we do, anything we strive for, ultimately, if they do not come to the benefit of the society or the population at large, what is the benefit of it, or what is the use of it? That is why the editorial people in a newspaper or a magazine or a news channel, with their decades-long years of experience and expertise, which they develop and acquire over such a period of time, if they do not come to the benefit of the society, what will be the use of it? The society will be a big loser in that sense. And that is why the editorial pages and the opinions are so important for our society, and mass media is doing a great service by providing such opinions and analysis to anyone who would like to care. This has long-term effects and benefits in the long term as well as short term. So we will conclude our discussions here itself. I have just tried to give you a very summary in a nutshell of the discussions, but in reality, these are much more broader than this half an hour or 45 minutes of discussions here. And there is no alternative than to practice anything. So it will be better if you try to read editorials, articles in op-ed pages, and also personal anecdotes or small comic stories which are given in newspapers, magazines, then reviews of books, dramas, films, etc., so that you can yourself develop a kind of expertise for this. And practice is a must for developing it. First of all, choose a few newspapers and prominent newspapers according to your own choice and your feeling of attachment. Then try to find out how they're writing about these various opinions and editorials. And you don't have to copy everything, but you can definitely take guidelines out of all these developments. And within 3 months, so 4 months, you will find that you have developed a kind of expertise, if not very mature expertise, because it is just the beginning, but at least to begin with, your writing will have much improved. Okay? Thank you very much.